In the long history of musical development, there have been many changes to the art form. However, none have had greater impact on music composition than the introduction of program music. From the very beginning, when music was first being created by man, its purpose was to describe the indescribable. In the medieval era of music, songs were made to represent the full majesty of God and his power. Then, during the classical and Baroque eras of musical development, composers such as Mozart and Haydn shifted their focus to innovate and experiment with the intricate styles and structures of music to yield the peak of musical harmony and expression. Most importantly, each composer in and before this period constructed their pieces with one singular notion in mind: that music was supposed to be ambiguous and indescribable. This aspect is the basis for what is known as absolute music, or music that isn't about anything. But this all changed when Beethoven took the reins and steered music into what is arguably the most influential period of music, the Romantic era. And this era really was fantastic. It had took everything that had been done before and combined the forms, structures, styles, moods, and themes in order to really stretch the boundaries of music to its fullest. However, where this period truly differs is that composers of the time started representing the real world with their compositions. Essentially, it gave music purpose. And this really broke all previous stereotypes of absolute music that had come before and introduced this idea of program music, or music that has innate purpose. Franz Liszt, who was really the godfather of program music, along with Wagner and Richard Strauss, believed that program music was the poetic solution for instrumental music. Its purpose was to give meaning to works so that general audiences could better understand the intricate meanings of the work. What cannot be disputed is that every composer has an innate purpose in mind when creating a piece. So Liszt thought, why not have this purpose be understood by all audiences? With his development of program music, Liszt changed the art form into a mode of unchanging purpose. Naturally, many combated this notion, asserting that it is in the interpretation that lies the true quality of music. They assert that specific purpose narrows the range of ideas that can actually be explored with a piece. A key identifier of these musical purists is that they believe that music should remain art in its purest form. But wait, didn't I just say? What cannot be disputed is that every composer has an innate purpose in mind when creating a piece. Doesn't this mean that music can never be truly ambiguous? If every composer has a purpose in mind for his or her piece, this means that music doesn't have an intrinsic ambiguity, but instead has an inherent linguistic character. This makes the form limited to what only can be described with words, whether that be emotion, mood, theme, or style, all things that just so happen to be explored in the Romantic era. Now, with that being said, music expression is clearly not at its highest form of development. Indeed, the most common word in popular music is love.
Love is a battlefield.
In a way, it's like these songs were made to be replaced by identical replicas. Wait, but the power of music is so much more than what these songs make it out to be. Oddly enough, the purpose that exists in music that has an intrinsic value to describe thrives in an avenue of communication where the visuals are at the center stage, the movies. But composer Ennio Morricone, famous for scoring the good, the bad, and the ugly, believes that modern film scores have slowly deteriorated in quality. In this way, he asserts that most modern film composers fail to grasp the importance of music in film. As he explains, the purpose of music is to describe what is not said. This programmatic method of scoring a film plays into the thought that music should underscore the visual elements of film. His position puts forth very important ideas, but we can still go further, for music is too malleable and complex to serve just one aspect of a film. With this idea in mind, composers can truly move forward in musical development, simply because they have more of an opportunity to experiment. If we focus on not absolute, but program music, position unequivocal purpose as the impetus of experimentation, and understand that we have the ability to make music a full encapsulator of any mode of communication, we might just be able to not only bring music into a new era, but also lead film into a new renaissance. It could create a world where the audio and visual elements of any art form stand beside each other, instead of one only being secondary to the other.